Hey guys, it's Veteran Noob. Now, I won't be the first person to say that the MCU has been losing its steam lately, especially with the new Multiverse saga. Phase 4 to 6 has been very messy. We had problems like Jonathan Majors being arrested for allegedly beating his girlfriend. Problem for Marvel was that he was playing Kang, who was the main antagonist of the saga, and the fifth Avengers movie was titled The Kang Dynasty, which would obviously meant it would be about Kang. With Marvel not wanting to have such a controversial actor, they decided to fire him and brought back Robert Downey Jr. this time, playing Doctor Doom in the now titled Avengers Doomsday. We haven't seen Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars, and we have no idea whether or not they'll be good, but bringing back Robert Downey Jr. seems very desperate, but we'll see. It could be good or it could be bad. Today, I decided how I personally would restructure phases 4, 5, and 6 of the MCU. So, starting with Phase 4. In 2021, we will have The Fantastic Four, which will be the first movie of Phase 4 and the first movie of 2021. Personally, I think the first movie of Phase 4 should have been Fantastic Four. It literally has the number 4 in its titles. Yeah, I don't know why they waited so long to put the Fantastic Four in the MCU. Marvel deciding to introduce the Fantastic Four in Phase 6 and having Doctor Doom be introduced in Avengers 5 seems very rushed. So I think we should have a Fantastic Four movie starting up the saga to set them up as a team. This film doesn't really have to be a origin story. We can have like a brief scene showing their origin. Also similar to the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out. This will take place in another universe, which it seems like that's what they're going with, and it'll be in the 60s. Doctor Doom can be the main villain of the film, and this movie could also set up the rivalry between Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom. We can also have a scene of the Fantastic Four fighting Mole Man, and Molecule Man can also be a secondary villain who could be important for Secret Wars. The second movie of Phase 4 can be Shang-Chi. This movie will stay mostly the same with a few changes. I changed Shang-Chi's father name from Wenwu to Zhengzhu, and his sister's name from Xiling to Zheng Baoyu, since those were their names in the comics. Also, I'll have Aquafina not play Katie because I don't like her, and she can be played by Brenda Song, Karen Fukuhara, or literally any other Asian actress that's close to Simu Liu's age. Next movie can be Spider-Man No Way Home. No Way Home was a big success and a lot of people loved it. I sure did love it when it came out, but now I kind of feel more mixed about the film. The movie did have some problems that if I were to get into, it would be its own video. So yeah, this movie could stay the same. So the next movie of the phase and the last movie of 2021 will be The Mighty Thor. Thor Love and Thunder was a huge disappointment and it had so much potential, but it ended up just not working. I think something that can fix the movie other than getting rid of most of the humor is to split these into two movies. This film will be about Thor reuniting with Jane Foster as she has found a way to reconstruct Mjolnir and is now worthy of it. Jane starts calling herself the Mighty Thor and we learn that she has cancer. Thor and Jane will work together to fight the Enchantress, who will be the main villain of the film. At the end of the film, Jane will die of cancer, but she dies a hero and ends up in Jotunheim, where she meets Heimdall, Loki, Odin, and Frigga. The first film of 2022 will be Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. This film will be similar to the actual film, but with a lot of changes. The main villain will be Nightmare, and the Baron Mordo from Earth 616 will play a role in the film. With how the actual film has a lot to do with dreams and introduces the concept of dream walking, this can easily tie into Nightmare since he feeds off people's dreams. We can also remove the whole Illuminati scene because that was really unnecessary and was just fan service. Next film will be Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which was a pretty solid movie, so it can stay the same. The tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman affected this movie a lot, with them killing off the character. Personally, I think that T'Challa should be recast because because he's an important Marvel character, but I do understand why they wouldn't want to. So we can keep Shuri being the Black Panther of the film. I do not like how it seems as Marvel's trying to get rid of T'Challa across all media and replacing him with other characters who've been Black Panther. I'm not gonna get into that because it could be a video of its own. With all that said, I wouldn't really change much about the film. I'll get rid of the subplot with Valentina, and I'd have Talokan be called Atlantis like it is in the comics. So the final film of both Phase 4 and 2022 would be Avengers Secret Invasion. So instead of that awful Disney Plus show, the Secret Invasion storyline will be an Avengers movie. In this film, the Avengers will be Sam Wilson, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Hulk, Thor, Ant-Man, Wasp, Doctor Strange, Shang-Chi, Hawkeye, and War Machine. In this film, we find out that Skrulls have turned against the humans and are now planning on invading the Earth. And we get reveals of characters we know being Skrulls. Some of the Skrulls could be War Machine, Maria Hill, Wasp, Hawkeye, and other suspicious people. The climax of the film can be the Avengers fighting the Super Skrull. This movie can be like a mystery and espionage type film where we don't know who we can trust. The first film of Phase 5 and of 2023 will be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This will be exactly the same as the movie we got because it was perfect and the best MCU film since Infinity War. So the next movie of Phase 5 will be Captain Marvel: Rise of the Marvels. So this will be the sequel of Captain Marvel, and I haven't seen The Marvels, so I have no idea what that movie's about. So this movie will be about Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamal Khan teaming up, which I know that's what the movie was about, and the main villain of the film could be Korvac. So the last movie of 2023 will be Ant-Man and the Wasp: Taking Aim. I haven't seen Ant-Man Quantumania because I don't like the Ant-Man movies, and I heard this one was ass. This movie can be completely different from the Ant-Man 3 we actually got. A YouTuber by the name of Nando V Movies, go check him out, he's really good. He has a video where he was pitching Ant-Man 3 that came out before Quantumania was announced, and his idea sounds so much better, so I want to kind of use his idea. So go check out his video. Basically what his pitch was is that the film would introduce the third Ant-Man, Eric O'Grady, and have MODOK be the main villain. Basically, that's what I want to do in the movie, have Ant-Man and the Wasp team up with Eric O'Grady, Ant-Man, and fight MODOK and AIM, and at the end of the movie, Ant-Man's daughter becomes Stature. The first film of 2024 will be Fantastic Four: The Negative Zone. This will be the sequel to the Fantastic Four, and in this film, we have the Fantastic Four discover the Negative Zone. The team gets trapped into the Negative Zone and they find out it's ruled by a nihilist who will be the main villain of the... At the end of the film, Reed Richards can discover the multiverse. So the next movie of Phase 5 can be Deadpool and Wolverine. This can stay the same as the actual Deadpool and Wolverine we got since it was a good movie and a huge success. The last movie of 2024 will be Young Avengers. I have no idea why Marvel's been setting up Young Avengers, but they still haven't announced a Young Avengers project. Like, all the kids who are playing the Young Avengers characters, they're gonna be too old to be Young Avengers. Anyways, the team will consist of Iron Lad, Kate Bishop, Cassie Lang, Patriot, Wiccan, Hulkling, America Chavez, Kamal Khan, and Ironheart. In this movie, Iron Lad, who is a variant of Kang, brings together a group of young heroes. Kang will be the main villain of the film. Iron Lad gets the team together to stop him. At the end of the movie, Iron Lad kills Kang and then leaves the Young Avengers, making Kate Bishop the leader. The post-credit scene will tease Wiccan's twin brother's speech. So the first movie of 2025 will be Blade the Vampire Hunter. This will be the Blade movie that was announced back in 2019, but keeps getting delayed. I don't know why Marvel keeps messing up the movie. How hard can it be to make a Blade movie? So this can be like the best case scenario for the Blade movie, and the villain can be Lilith Drake, daughter of Dracula. The next movie of Phase 5 will be The Spectacular Spider-Man. This will be the fourth MCU Spider-Man movie and the first in a new trilogy. Peter Parker is in college now, alone, with no one remembering who he is. Peter spends more time as Spider-Man in the movie and will team up with Daredevil and Black Cat. The main villain of this movie will be Scorpion who is working for the Kingpin. The next movie will be Thor God of Thunder. This film will be the 5th film in the Thor franchise. The main villain will be Gore the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale, who is going around killing gods after they fail to save his daughter. We will actually see Gore kill many gods. Gore will kill Zeus, which gets Hercules involved in helping Thor stop Gore. Thor will also meet Beta Ray Bill, who Thor finds out is worthy of Mjolnir, and Thor gives him Stormbreaker. This movie will also be very dark. So the last movie of Phase 5 and 2025 will be Avengers Thunderbolts. This movie will be about the Avengers fighting the Thunderbolts. The members of the Thunderbolts will be Red Hulk, US Agent, Yelena Belova, Taskmaster, Black Ant, Moonstone, Baron Zemo, and Ghost. The Thunderbolts are hired by Valentina Allegra de Fontaine to do the missions that are too dark. So the Thunderbolts will be the villains of the movie, but in the end some members decide to reform and become heroes instead. So the first movie of Phase 6 and 2026 will be Fantastic Four: The Coming of Galactus. So in this movie, Galactus arrives on Earth to eat the planet. Galactus's heralds will arrive with him, which will be Silver Surfer, Terrax, Firelord, and Airwalker. The Fantastic Four have to stop Galactus from destroying the Earth. The Watcher will help fight against Galactus, and Doctor Doom also tries to help. The Silver Surfer will turn against Galactus and help the Fantastic Four. At the end of the movie, Galactus actually wins and successfully eats the Earth, but the Fantastic Four, Doom, Silver Surfer, and other allies escape their universe and travel to Earth 616. At the end of the movie, Doom blames Reed Richards for failing their Earth and vows revenge. So the second movie of Phase 6 will be Shang-Chi: Wreckage of Time. This movie will be the sequel to Shang-Chi. In this film, Shang-Chi's sister, Shang Bao-Yu, is now the head of the Ten Rings, and Shang-Chi has to fight against her. Iron Fist will also appear in this movie and will team up with Shang-Chi. So the last movie of 2026 will be Young Avengers: The Children's Crusade. The team will now consist of the members from the first movie minus Iron Lad, but with the addition of Speed and Kid Loki. The main villain of this movie will be Scarlet Witch, and we find out that she created Wiccan and Speed to be her children. Scarlet Witch has gone mad with power, so the Young Avengers have to stop her. Wiccan finds out Speed is his twin brother, and they both have to confront their mother. And at the end of the movie, Wiccan kills Scarlet Witch. We find out in a post-credit scene that Doctor Doom has been controlling Scarlet Witch ever since he arrived on Earth 616. The first movie of 2027 will be The Spectacular Spider-Man 2. This will be the 5th Spider-Man movie and the 2nd movie in the College Spider-Man trilogy. In this movie, Peter Parker will get the symbiote, and the main villain can be Kraven the Hunter, and this movie can be based on Kraven's last hunt. Maybe MJ can return, maybe Spider-Man can get a job at the Daily Bugle, maybe he meets Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn, who knows. So the next movie of Phase 6 will be Avengers Doomsday. In this movie, Doctor Doom tries to take over Earth 616 and rebuild the Latveria of his Earth. The Fantastic Four will play a big role, teaming up with the Avengers to stop Doom. Doctor Doom's hatred for Reed Richards has consumed him as he blames him for their Earth's destruction. In this movie, we will also see how the Fantastic Four react to being in a different world with different heroes. Doctor Doom will use the Darkhold to access magic to control and rebuild the world. The Avengers, Fantastic Four, Young Avengers, and other heroes all come together to fight Doom. At the end of the movie, Doctor Doom comes into contact with the Beyonder. Then Doom and a bunch of characters are transported to Battleworld. The last movie of 2027 will be Midnight Suns. This movie will be R-rated and will be about the dark and supernatural side of the MCU. The Midnight Suns will consist of Blade, Moon Knight, Black Knight, Elsa Bloodstone, Werewolf by Night, Man-Thing, and Ghost Rider, and the main villain will be Lilith. First movie of 2028 will be Doctor Strange: Dark Dimension. In this film, Doctor Strange meets Leah, and they travel to the Dark Dimension. Baron Mordo and Dormammu will be the main villains. So the next movie of Phase 6 will be Avengers: Secret Wars. So a lot of heroes and villains have been transported by the Beyonder. to battle worlds, and Doom has tricked the Beyonder to trust him as he is secretly using Molecule Man to take away his power to use for himself, and he becomes God Emperor Doom and creates New Latveria in Battle World and rules over it. This movie should work as the climax of the saga, and this film's main focus will be about the rivalry between Reed and Doom. We'll have a lot of important deaths in the movie, and they will bring characters from other universes as Doom wants to destroy other universes. At the end of the movie, the Avengers, Fantastic Four, Young Avengers, and others defeat Doom and return back to their worlds. The end will also set up a sort of soft reboot where we learn in the next saga that mutants retroactively have existed. The last movie of 2028 and of Phase 6 and of the Multiverse Saga will be World War Hulk. In this movie, Hulk will turn back into a more savage Hulk after being Professor Hulk since Endgame. The leader will be the main villain of the film, who's been manipulating Hulk's powers, making him more barbaric to turn the world against Hulk. She-Hulk, Scar, Red Hulk, and Abomination will also be a part of the movie.
So yeah, there has been speculation about the potential Phase 7, 8, and 9 of the MCU. A lot of people believe that it will be the Mutant Saga, since the MCU now has the rights to the X-Men, and we haven't gotten an X-Men movie yet. I think it makes sense to save the X-Men for their own dedicated saga, and that's what this video is about. Now, I just want to say that the X-Men won't be the only movies in this saga that are focused on mutants. We will get movies about other mutant teams and mutant characters can even show up in other movies. The X-Men movies will act as the big event of each phase, just like the Avengers movies did for the previous phases. So without further ado, let's get started. So, starting off in the year 2029, the first movie will be Generation X. I know you might be thinking, what the hell is Generation X? Is that a ripoff of that boys spin-off Gen V? And why start with them instead of just starting with the X-Men? Well, it would be interesting to introduce other mutant teams before we do X-Men. This could be a good way to build hype for an X-Men movie by gradually introducing mutants through movies until we get the eventual X-Men movie. In this movie, we can focus on the young mutants who are students in Xavier's school. We can learn what it's like being a mutant, and this can introduce us into the world of mutants. The team can consist of Jubilee, Skin, Cinch, Husk, M, and Chamber. And Banshee will be the group's mentor/teacher. The main villain of the movie can be Black Tom Cassidy, but we don't have to call him Black Tom. He could just be called Tom Cassidy because that name is kind of dumb. Like, he's not black. I don't know why he's called Black Tom. The second movie of Phase 7 will be Blade Night Stalkers. So this is a sequel to the previous MCU Blade movie, Blade the Vampire Hunter. And in this movie, he will form a group with Hannibal King and Frank Drake called the Night Stalkers. The main villain of the movie can be Zarus, the son of Dracula, and Varney can be a secondary villain. So the next movie of 2029 will be Young Avengers Resolution. This movie will be the last movie in the Young Avengers trilogy. It will be about how the Young Avengers are now older and decide to move on, focus on better things, become heroes on their own, or retire, get actual jobs, not want to be heroes anymore because they were young, but they've grown older and things change. So, the team will be the same as the last movie with the addition of the mutant prodigy. The main villain of this movie can be Master Pandemonium, whose arms were replaced by demons from Mephisto, who can also have a role in this movie. So, the last movie of 2029 will be Gambit. This movie will be about the Gambit played by Channing Tatum in Deadpool and Wolverine. This could be a way for Channing Tatum to finally star in the Gambit movie he's wanted to make for decades. And this can take place after Deadpool and Wolverine, where he'll hop into a portal that takes him into the world that he got back. This movie can show the origin of Gambit and his history with the Thieves Guild. Gambit's ex-wife, Bella Donna Bordeaux, the leader of the Assassin's Guild, will be the main villain of the movie. In this movie, there can be a turf war between the Thieves Guild and the Assassin's Guild, where Gambit is caught in the middle of it because of his history with both guilds. Now moving on to 2030. The first movie of 2030 will be Black Panther Reborn. So in this movie, it will be established that after Secret Wars, the universe has been sort of rebooted, and now T'Challa is still alive, and we recast him. In this movie, we can give Black Panther a suit that is more akin to his comic design, you know, with like that cool cape. And Storm can also be introduced in this movie as maybe a love interest, since they got married in the comics at one point. The main villain of this movie can be a chibi, and the adversary can also be in this movie as a secondary villain. The second movie of 2030 will be X-Force. This will be a follow-up to Deadpool and Wolverine, and won't take place in the MCU universe. It'll take place in the Fox universe. In this movie, Deadpool reforms the X-Force. The team will consist of Deadpool, Wolverine, X-23, Cable, Domino, Colossus, and Psylocke. The main villain of the movie will be Omega Red, who hates both Colossus and Wolverine. He had a history with both of them. The movie will of course be rated R like the Deadpool movies. The last movie of 2030 will be the Spectacular Spider-Man 3. This will be the last movie in the Spectacular Spider-Man trilogy. In this movie, Spider-Man will be graduating college, and he will get back together with MJ. The main villain of the movie will be Dr. Octopus. He will form the Sinister Six, which will consist of him, Vulture, Scorpion, Kraven, Shocker, and Mysterio. Otto wants revenge against Norman Osborn, who screwed him over, so he forms the team to fight him, and Spider-Man has to stop them. We will also introduce a 12-year-old Miles Morales. We will have a mid-credit scene where Miles gets bit by a radioactive spider, and a post-credit scene where Norman starts laughing maniacally while holding a goblin mask. Moving on to 2031. The first movie of 2031 is Captain Marvel Higher, Further, Faster. This will be the last movie in the Captain Marvel trilogy. The main villain of this movie will be Deathbird, who was exiled from the Shi'ar. This movie will also introduce Mystique and Rogue. In this movie, Rogue will take Carol's powers, but at the end, Carol decides to retire and let Rogue keep her powers. The second movie of 2031 will be X-Factor. The X-Factor can be another mutant team Marvel can introduce before the X-Men. The team will be a government-sanctioned mutant team not involved with Professor X, formed to help mutants. The team consists of Forge, Angel, Iceman, Wolfsbane, Multiple Man, Strong Guy, Havoc, and Polaris, with Forge being the leader of the team. The team will be formed by Cameron Hodge, who we learn is secretly against the mutants, founding a high-tech anti-mutant organization called The Right. He will be the main villain of the movie, and he betrays the team, so they have to stop him. The next movie of 2031 will be The Immortal Hulk. This movie takes place after World War Hulk, and now Hulk is seen as a monster, so Bruce Banner is in hiding. Rick Jones will be introduced in this movie as Bruce's sidekick. Maestro will be the main villain of the movie, with Devil Hulk and the One Below All being other villains in the movie. This movie will also introduce the MCU's version of Wolverine in a cameo where he fights Hulk. So the last movie of 2031 will be Midnight Suns Damnation. This will be the sequel to Midnight Suns, and in this movie they will fight Mephisto. He will be the main villain of the movie. The team will also include Hannibal King and Dr. Voodoo. Now moving on to 2032. The first movie of 2032 will be Nova. This will be about legendary Nova Corps member Richard Rider training a young Sam Alexander to become the new Nova. This movie will be a big galactic adventure like Star Wars. The good ones. And the good ones are whatever the ones you like. Yeah. The main villain of the movie will be Spinks. Silver Surfer, Star-Lord, and Beta Ray Bill can also appear in this movie. The next movie of 2032, which is the movie that this whole phase has been leading up to, yes, it will be the X-Men movie titled The Uncanny X-Men. The members of the team will be Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Storm, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Kitty Pryde, and Rogue. It will be established that the X-Men have existed for 10 years, with the original team being Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Iceman, and Angel, like in the comics. Kitty Pryde and Rogue will be new members of the team, with Kitty Pryde being the POV character, as she's a new student at Xavier's school, and is being introduced to the team. Rogue starts the movie on her own until she meets the X-Men, and she'll join the team halfway through the movie. Professor X will obviously be in the movie as the founder and leader of the X-Men, with Cyclops as the field leader. The main villain of the movie will be Magneto, who has escaped the capture of SWORD and wants revenge against the human race. The X-Men have to stop Magneto, but at the same time the government sends Sentinels after Magneto after being warned by SWORD about him. So the mutants will have to stop the Sentinels too, as they are also attacking other mutants. SWORD will have a big role in the movie, with Henry Gyrick as the commander and Abigail Brand as an agent. Other villains in this movie will be Mystique, Master Mold, Toad, Blob, Mastermind, and Destiny. At the end of the movie, the X-Men stop Magneto, but Professor X lets him leave with other of his mutant allies to stay on Asteroid M. Henry Gyrick also loses his role as commander of SWORD, since they find out that he was the one responsible for the Sentinels' attack the mutants, and he caused violence against both humans and mutants. So Abigail Brand takes his role. Beast will leave the X-Men to join SWORD to make sure the agency can protect mutants. The last movie of Phase 7 will be Shang-Chi Eye of the Dragon. This movie will be an epilogue of the phase and the last movie in the Shang-Chi trilogy. The main villain of the movie will be Ghostmaker, and Fin Fang Foom can also appear in the movie. He could be like a third act fight. Swordmaster will be in the movie as well, and Darkstrider and Sabretooth will be other villains in the film. Moving on to Phase 8. The first movie of Phase 8 and of 2033 will be Fantastic Four: Rise of the Inhumans, the fourth Fantastic Four movie. This one will take place on Earth 616. This movie will introduce the Inhumans in the MCU. No, the show does not count. That is not canon. Kevin Feige does not want that to be canon. You don't care. No one cares. No one watched that show. The Inhumans in this movie will be Black Bolt, Medusa, Karnak, Organ, Triton, Crystal, and Lockjaw. The main villain of the film will be Maximus, and both Franklin and Valeria Richards will be in the movie. In this movie, the Fantastic Four will discover the Inhumans, and they help them out. Also, the Human Torch will fall in love with the Inhuman Crystal. Black Panther and Namor can also show up in this movie. So the second movie of Phase 8 will be Wolverine Weapon X. In this movie, Wolverine will go on an adventure separate from the X-Men. Jubilee and Kitty Pryde will join on this adventure. The main villain will be Sabretooth, while Lady Deathstrike and Silver Samurai will be secondary villains. We'll see some flashbacks to Wolverine's origin and learn about his time in Canada and Japan, but it won't be in the movie for too long. The last movie of 2033 will be Blade: Tomb of Dracula. So in this movie, Dracula will be the main villain, obviously, because of the title. Blade and the Night Stalkers want to kill Dracula, and they'll kill him in the end of the movie, and the mutant vampire Selene will also be in this movie as another villain. Moving on to 2034, the first movie of 2034 will be Silver Surfer. In this movie, Galactus has returned, and Silver Surfer has to stop him. Adam Warlock, Nova, Star-Lord, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Fantastic Four will appear in this film. We will see a lot of Silver Surfer's origin in the film. We'll see his wife and how he became the Herald of Galactus. Galactus's heralds will now consist of Stardust, Terrax, Frankie Ray, aka Nova, and Airwalker. At the end of the movie, Silver Surfer kills Galactus and gets redemption for all the harm he's caused. The second movie of 2034 will be X Factor 2. This movie will have the same members of the X Factor from the first movie, with the addition of Mystique and Shard. Valerie Cooper will also be in the movie as the team's government liaison. Artie Maddox and Leech will be in this movie as X Factor trainees. The main villain of this movie will be Exodus, who is connected to Apocalypse since Exodus got his powers enhanced by him and is now the champion of Apocalypse. Apocalypse will also appear briefly in this movie, sort of like how Thanos did in Guardians of the Galaxy. Magneto will also appear in this movie. He will be the one who freed Exodus, and we will see that he brought him to Asteroid M before he left to serve Apocalypse. Angel will also supposedly die in an explosion in this movie, but it will be revealed that he was only crippled in the explosion, losing his wings, but he was saved by Apocalypse, who turns him into Archangel. The last movie of 2034 will be Spider-Man Legacy. This movie will be about Peter training Miles to become the next Spider-Man. Norman Osborn will be the main villain. He has become the Green Goblin now, and he's going crazy. Peter's trying to cure Norman of his illness since he already knows who Norman Osborn is and how he's the Green Goblin from No Way Home. Miles Morales will be the second main character of the movie and will have almost as much screen time as Peter Parker. At the end of the movie, Peter will get married to MJ and retire, leaving Miles to be the one and only Spider-Man. Moving on to 2035. The first movie of 2035 will be Nova, the Shi'ar Empire. The main villain of this movie will be Vulcan, who is leading the Shi'ar Empire now. Richard and Sam will take on Vulcan and the Shi'ar. Darkhawk, Quasar, and the Starjammers will also appear in this film. The Shi'ar members Gladiator, Lilandra, and Deathbird will be in the movie. Sword will also have a role in this movie trying to take down the Shi'ar. The post-credit scene of the movie will have a Vulcan meet Mr. Sinister, who alludes that Vulcan is the brother of Cyclops and Havoc. The next movie of 2035 will be The Astonishing X-Men. The X-Men team in this movie will consist of Cyclops, Jean Grey, Storm, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Kitty Pryde, Rogue, Jubilee, and Gambit. The main villain of the movie will be Mr. Sinister, who plans to create his own perfect human race and is obsessed with the Summers family. We will learn a lot about Cyclops' origin in this movie, and we will also learn how Mr. Sinister is connected to Cyclops' childhood, as the orphanage Scott grew up in was opened by Mr. Sinister. Havoc will be in the movie, and we will find out that he is Cyclops' brother. Their other brother, Vulcan, will also appear briefly in the movie. Mr. Sinister leads a group called the Marauders, which consists of Arclight, Blockbuster, Riptide, Sabretooth, and Gambit. In the beginning of the movie, we find out that the Marauders killed an underground group of mutants known as the Morlocks. Gambit starts the movie as a member of the Marauders, but he leaves the team and joins the X-Men when he falls in love with Rogue and realizes that Mr. Sinister is actually evil and was manipulating him the whole time. Gambit will also be the only member of the Marauders who wasn't involved in the Morlock massacre, and him finding out about the massacre is another reason that pushes him to leave the team. Professor X will be absent for a lot of this movie. We will find out the reason is because he's working on making Genosha, a place for mutants, with Moira McTaggart. In a mid-credit scene, we will reveal that at some point in the movie, Mr. Sinister replaced Jean Grey with a clone, and we will get a post-credit scene teasing Apocalypse. The last movie of Phase 8 will be Black Panther and the White Tiger. In this movie, Black Panther will team up with former cop, now hero, Casper Cole, also known as the White Tiger. Casper got his powers from a synthetic version of the Wakandan heart-shaped herb that he was gifted to from Killmonger before he died. The main villain of this movie will be the White Wolf. He's the adopted brother of T'Challa, who is white, and the leader of Wakandan's secret police, the Hat-Hut Zarazi, that was banished by T'Challa but is now being brought up to rise against T'Challa. Moving on to Phase 9, the first movie of Phase 9 in 2036 will be New Mutants. This movie will have Professor X teaching a group of young mutants called the New Mutants. The team will consist of Karma, Mirage, Sunspot, Cannonball, Magic, Boom Boom, and Warlock. This movie will set up the formation of Genosha as a safe haven for mutants. The main villain of this movie will be Legion, the secret son of Professor X. The second movie of Phase 9 will be The Ultimate Spider-Man. This will be the solo movie for Miles Morales as Spider-Man. In this movie, Miles has learned to be Spider-Man on his own without Peter, and he protects Brooklyn. The main villain of the movie will be Mr. Negative, the founder of Feast, where Miles volunteers at. Aaron Davis will also be in this movie as the Prowler. The last movie of 2036 will be Magneto and the Brotherhood of Mutants. This movie will take place in Asteroid M and will be about Magneto trying to keep his Brotherhood of Mutants safe from humans. The main villain will be Bastion, who sends the Prime Sentinels to attack Asteroid M. We will find out that Magneto accidentally caused Bastion to be created after Magneto destroyed the Sentinels, Master Mold, and Nimrod. The remnants of them fuse together to create Bastion. The Asteroid M gets destroyed, and most of the Brotherhood moves back to Genosha. So, moving on to 2037. The first movie of 2037 will be Excalibur. Excalibur will be a United Kingdom-based government-sponsored team. Excalibur will consist of Captain Britain, Megan, Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, Rachel Summers, Psylocke, Colossus, and the Black Knight. In this movie, Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, and Colossus have left the X-Men to carry on Xavier's dream internationally. Moira McTaggart will also be in the movie assisting the team. The main villain of the movie will be Ahab, the leader of the anti-mutant program, the Hounds. The second movie of 2037 will be Wolverine Alpha Flight. In this movie, Wolverine will reunite with his old team, Alpha Flight. The team consists of Guardian, Aurora, Northstar, Sasquatch, Shaman, Snowbird, and Vindicator. The main villains of the movie will be Omega Flight, which consists of Jerry Jackson, Delphine Courtney, Diamond Lil, Flashback, Mart Alec, and Wildchild, with Jerry Jackson being the leader. The last movie of 2037 will be Rogue. In this movie, Rogue will travel to the Savage Land. Magneto will be in this movie living in the Savage Land after Asteroid M was destroyed, but don't worry, him and Rogue won't be a couple in this movie. Kazar, Shauna the She-Devil, and Zabu will also be in the movie as inhabitants of the Savage Land. The main villain of the movie will be Sauron. Also, Gambit will appear in this movie briefly in the beginning. Moving on to 2038. First movie of 2038 will be Nova Annihilation. In this movie, Annihilus has returned and is ordering his Annihilation wave to leave the negative zone and invade and conquer the positive matter universes. The main characters of this movie will be Richard Rider, Sam Alexander, Silver Surfer, Quasar, and Super Skrull. Star-Lord, Gladiator, Beta Ray Bill, Phyla-Vell, some members of the Guardians of the Galaxy, T-Rex, and Firelord can also appear in this movie. Richard Rider will become Nova Prime in this movie and will defeat Annihilus by using Quasar and Phyla-Vell's quantum bands. The second movie of 2038 will be X-Men Rise of the Phoenix. In this movie, we find out that Jean Grey has been in space and has merged with the Phoenix Force, so she returns to Earth as the Phoenix. This causes a lot of drama since there was already a Jean Grey that was still on Earth, and she is pregnant with Cyclops' kid. That's obviously not the real Jean Grey. You've seen X-Men 97. That is a clone created by Mr. Sinister named Madeline Pryor, and her baby is Nathan Summers, who grows up to be Cable in the future. The team in this movie will be Professor X, Cyclops, Storm, Wolverine, Rogue, Jubilee, Gambit, and Magneto. Havoc, Cable, Bishop, Vulcan, Lilandra, and the Shi'ar Empire will appear in this movie. In this movie, Genosha will be fully formed and will be backed by the United Nations, and Magneto becomes its leader in the film. The Hellfire Club will play a big role in the movie. They'll be the ones who corrupt Jean Grey into becoming the Dark Phoenix. Mr. Sinister will return, and we will find out he's been pulling some of the strings with the Hellfire Club to turn Jean Grey into the Dark Phoenix, and he sends Madeline Pryor to stop the X-Men when they try to stop Jean from becoming the Dark Phoenix. So Jean ends up becoming too dangerous as the Dark Phoenix, so she sacrifices herself after she says goodbye to Cyclops. At the end of the movie, we find out from Mr. Sinister that Apocalypse is coming, and Sinister's plan was actually to use the Dark Phoenix as a weapon against Apocalypse. The post-credit scene will tease the Age of Apocalypse happening very soon. The last movie of 2038 will be Deathlock. This movie will be about the Michael Collins version of Deathlock. This will be an origin story. Michael Collins is a Roxxon worker whose brain gets put into the Deathlock cyborg body. The main villain of the movie will be Harlan Riker. S.H.I.E.L.D. will also play a role in the movie. Moving on to 2039, the last year of the saga. The first movie of 2039 will be New Mutants War Children. This is the sequel to New Mutants, and the team in this movie will consist of the same members from the first movie with the addition of Magma and Cypher. So in this movie, the X-Men are busy preparing for Apocalypse's arrival, so the New Mutants decide to step up and solve the problems the X-Men are too busy to solve. Magneto will be the one mentoring the team in this movie instead of Professor X. The main villain will be Strife, clone of Cable who was raised by Apocalypse. In this movie, Strife is sent from the future by Apocalypse to recruit Horsemen of Apocalypse and to fulfill Apocalypse's plans to make sure the Age of Apocalypse happens. Since the X-Men are busy, the New Mutants have to stop Strife. Cable will play a role in this movie and help the team fight against the clone of him. At the end of the movie, Strife finds out he's a clone and that Apocalypse has lied to him this entire time and manipulated him. So he quits working for Apocalypse, but he tells the team that it's too late, and Apocalypse has already won, and he just leaves. The second movie of 2039, and the movie that the entire saga has been building up to, is X-Men Age of Apocalypse. In this movie, Apocalypse, who is one of the oldest and most powerful mutants, has arrived to take over the world and fulfill his plans to get rid of the weak and create a race stronger than mutants, as he sees humans and mutants as primitive and wants to force evolution. In this movie, the X-Men, the X-Factor, New Mutants, Excalibur, Generation X, Cable, Bishop, Magneto, Vulcan, Lilandra, Emma Frost, Beast, Abigail Brand, and the Brotherhood of Mutants will be involved in fighting against Apocalypse. The Horsemen of Apocalypse will be Archangel as the Horseman of Death, Ahab as the Horseman of Famine, Caliban as the Horseman of Pestilence, and Deathbird as the Horseman of War. The movie will open with Apocalypse attacking Genosha and massacring a large number of mutants. This movie will be very long, probably like 3 hours, as it'll have a lot of characters in it fighting the war against Apocalypse. Both Bishop and Cable have come from the future in this movie, and in their future, Apocalypse has already won, so they're both here to prevent their own futures from happening. At the end of the movie, Magneto sacrifices himself to kill Apocalypse, and we will get a tease of Krakoa being formed as the new home for mutants. The last movie of the saga will be Rise of the Ultimate Spider-Man. This is another Miles Morales Spider-Man movie, and it will act as the epilogue to the entire saga. The main villain will be Alistar Smythe, the Spider Slayer. He wants revenge against Spider-Man because his father died between the fight with him and Mr. Negative. The movie will be pretty low stakes and street level since we've gotten a lot of high stakes, big event movies, so it'll be good to have, like, you know, a nice little palate cleanser. Okay, so that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. what do you think of my idea for a Mutant Saga in the MCU? Let me know what you guys thought about the movie ideas and what you would change. Would you guys remove some movies? Would you add some movies? Or would you change the order of some movies? Something I didn't mention for both the Multiverse Saga video and this video is TV shows. These ideal sagas will have TV shows, but I don't think they should be considered as important viewing for catching up with the universe. They should be their own things for people to enjoy. If I were to mention shows that could be in the Mutant Saga, they would be Academy X, Exiles, Sword, Storm, Dazzler, Cable, and Starjammers. And there could also be more. Alright, so, yeah, that's about it. Sorry I took so long to make this video. It took me like 3 weeks, but it's not because this took so long to make. It's because I kept stopping and starting because I've been busy and I've also been lazy. I got like school work I have to do. I got this done, so yeah. Goodbye.